Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. You ever had someone walk into the room and suddenly your whole vibe changed? Not because they brought good energy, but because they sucked the life out of it. Yeah, we all know someone like that. The kind of person who can drain your peace like a phone battery on a 1%. Always negative, always dramatic, always something. And no matter how much you try to stay positive, they pull you back into their storm. But here's what I came to tell you. Smart people handle toxic people differently. They don't argue, they don't beg, they don't waste time. They move different. They protect their peace like it's gold. And in this speech, I'm about to break it down step by step, exactly how they do it. Because if you don't learn how to treat toxic people smartly, they'll mess with your money, your mindset, and your future. So sit tight. I promise you by the end of this, you'll never deal with toxic people the same way again. You ever had somebody come at you sideways? Say something slick out of the blue that makes you go, hold up, where did that come from? And for the rest of the day, you're thinking about it, replaying it in your head, wondering if you did something wrong. You feel attacked, disrespected, maybe even a little hurt. That's what toxic people do. They throw shade, they project their pain, and they try to pull you into it. But here's what smart people know. It's not about you. 9 times out of 10, it ain't even personal. Toxic people are like walking smoke alarms that go off for no reason. They're loud, disruptive, and most of the time, they got nothing to do with you. They're just stuck in their own mess. So when they bring that negativity your way, smart people don't absorb it. They don't let it shake them. They understand that what someone says or does is a reflection of them, not a reflection of you. Let me break it down. Imagine somebody throws a bag of trash at you. Nasty, stinking garbage. Do you pick it up and carry it around with you all day? No. You drop it, wipe yourself off, and keep it moving. That's exactly what toxic energy is, garbage. And the moment you take it personally, it's like picking it up and wearing it on your back. Smart people. They dodge that trash like it's dodgeball. They don't hold on to it. They don't stew in it. They recognize that it's not worth their time or their energy. See, toxic folks want a reaction. That's their game. They say slick stuff. They twist your words. They poke at your insecurities just to get a rise out of you. Why? Because your reaction feeds them. Your frustration gives them power. Your confusion makes them feel in control. But here's the twist: when you don't take it personally, you take their power away. Think about that. The moment you stop letting people's nonsense affect your peace, you win. You walk around free. You ain't heavy with other people's issues. You stop asking, why did they do that to me? And start saying, that's just who they are. And it ain't got nothing to do with me. Now look, I'm not saying it's easy. It takes practice. When someone disrespects you, when they say something rude, your first instinct is to clap back, defend yourself, prove your point. But smart people learn to pause. They learn to breathe before they speak. They learn to ask themselves, is this about me, or is this about something going on in their life that I can't see? Maybe they're insecure. Maybe they're hurting. Maybe they don't even like themselves, so they can't possibly show love to anyone else. That's not your responsibility to fix, but it is your responsibility not to let it destroy your peace. And let me say this loud and clear. You don't need to take ownership of someone else's brokenness. If someone comes at you with negativity, that's their storm. Don't let it rain on your spirit. The strongest, smartest people learn to let that energy pass through them like wind through a screen door. No resistance, no baggage. Just let it pass. So next time someone throws shade your way, don't react. Don't let it shake you. Smile if you can. Keep walking if you must. But know this, you're not responsible for their mess. You're responsible for your peace. That's what smart people protect at all costs. Because once you stop taking toxic behavior personally, you'll realize one thing: it was never really about you anyway. And just like that, you're free. Let me tell you something that'll save you a whole lot of stress. Not every battle is worth fighting. One of the smartest things you can do in life is learn when to just walk away. I'm serious. Not argue, not scream, not try to change somebody's mind. Just stand up, turn around, and leave the drama behind you like it never even touched you. That's power. See, toxic people thrive off attention. They live off that back and forth. They want to keep you locked in with them, tied up in their mess. The moment you raise your voice, the moment you try to explain yourself for the 5th time, they got you. Because now you're in it. Now you're giving them your energy. And that's what they wanted from the beginning. Your attention, your reaction, your time. But smart people, they see the trap and they don't fall into it. You ever see somebody trying to win an argument that ain't even about anything real? Just spinning in circles, going back and forth, trying to get the last word. That's what toxic people do. They bait you. They say something crazy just to get under your skin. And the moment you bite, they got you right where they want you, distracted, frustrated, and drained. But here's what smart folks understand. Peace is more valuable than proving a point. You don't need to win an argument with a toxic person, because there's no winning with someone who ain't listening. Someone who doesn't want to understand, someone who's committed to misunderstanding you. So why waste your breath? Let them talk, let them throw shade, let them spiral, and then you do the smartest thing possible: walk away. That doesn't make you weak. That makes you wise. That makes you in control. Because walking away ain't about quitting. It's about protecting your mind, your energy, and your time. Think about how many hours people waste arguing with folks who were never going to change. Hours, days, weeks even. Trying to make someone get it. Trying to fix a relationship that's broken at the foundation. Trying to explain their heart to someone who doesn't even care to listen. And in the end, they're left exhausted, confused, and still disrespected. That's not smart. That's not strength. That's struggle. And smart people don't live in struggle mode. They live in peace mode. Walking away doesn't always mean you hate somebody. It just means you love yourself enough to stop letting them drain you. It means you've got goals. You've got things to do. You've got peace to protect. And you're not about to let somebody who ain't even trying to grow pull you back into nonsense. You ever been around someone who just drains your energy every time they show up? Like, you can feel the weight hit your chest the moment they enter the room. That's a sign. That's your spirit trying to tell you, hey, this ain't healthy. You better start listening to that voice, because it's never wrong. Smart people hear it loud and clear, and they move accordingly. And let me say this plain: you don't owe anyone your presence. Just because you've known someone for years, just because they're family, just because they helped you once, doesn't mean you have to stay in the mess. Loyalty is a beautiful thing, but not when it costs you your sanity. Smart people know the difference between being loyal and being trapped. There's freedom in walking away. There's clarity in stepping back. There's peace in saying, you know what? I'm done trying to make this make sense. That's not weakness, that's growth. That's self-respect. That's intelligence. And once you start walking away from what no longer serves you, you'll realize something powerful. You were never stuck. You just kept giving energy to people and situations that didn't deserve it. But the moment you stop, the moment you take that first step in the opposite direction, everything starts to shift. You feel lighter, you breathe easier, and you start moving toward the life you were actually meant to live. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their storm, ask yourself one question: is this worth my peace? If the answer is no, and most of the time it is, do what smart people do. Walk away. Let's get something straight. Toxic people don't respect limits unless you give them one. And not just any limit. A clear, firm, unshakable line they know not to cross. Smart people understand this. They know that peace, self-respect, and emotional health all start with one thing: boundaries. Now, I'm not talking about weak boundaries. I'm not talking about saying, don't do that, and then letting folks walk all over you anyway. I'm talking about the kind of boundaries that are backed by action. The kind that says, this is how I expect to be treated. And if you can't do that, you don't get access to me. Toxic people test you. That's their nature. They poke, they push, they see how far they can go. It might start small. A little sarcasm here, a backhanded comment there. But if you let it slide, they'll take a mile. That's how it works. See, toxic people don't stop until you stop them. And if you don't draw the line, they'll keep crossing it again and again and again. But smart folks, they don't play that game. They let people know where the line is, and when that line gets crossed, they take action. Not in anger, not in drama, just calm, direct, and firm. That's the key. Boundaries don't have to come with shouting. You don't need to argue or explain. You just need to decide what your standard is and stick to it. Let's be real. Some folks will call you rude when you start setting boundaries. They'll call you selfish. They'll say you've changed. Of course they will. They're used to the old version of you. The version that tolerated too much, stayed too long, and gave too many chances. But smart people don't live in that version anymore. They've upgraded. And upgrades come with new rules. You ever notice how toxic people don't like boundaries? That's because boundaries block their ability to control you. Boundaries stop the manipulation. Boundaries break the pattern. So when you finally set one, they'll push back. They'll guilt trip you. They'll play the victim. I thought we were close. You used to be there for me. You're so cold now. Nah, you're not cold. You're just clear. There's a difference. Smart people don't let guilt rewrite their rules. They understand that setting boundaries isn't about being mean, it's about being healthy. It's about choosing peace over pressure. It's about choosing growth over guilt. And here's the truth: the people who really care about you will respect your boundaries. The ones who don't, they were never really for you anyway. They just liked what they could take from you. One of the smartest things you can do is decide what you will and won't tolerate. Say it, mean it, live by it. Don't just draw the line, protect it, because people will treat you how you allow them to. If you let disrespect slide, it becomes normal. If you keep explaining yourself to people who aren't listening, you'll wear yourself out. Smart people don't explain over and over. They set the boundary once, and if it's crossed, they pull back. They adjust the access. You gotta stop feeling bad for protecting yourself. You're not a doormat. You're not a free emotional punching bag. You have the right to protect your space, your time, your heart. And the moment you start doing that, your whole life starts to shift. You attract better people. You have more energy. You think clearer. Because now you're not constantly fighting battles that never should have been there in the first place. And look, setting boundaries might not make you popular, but it will make you peaceful. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. You weren't put on this earth to be liked by everyone. You were put here to live with purpose. And purpose needs protection. That protection, it's your boundaries. So don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to distance yourself. Don't be afraid to require respect. That's not weakness. That's not attitude. That's wisdom. That's maturity. That's what smart people do. They don't just draw the line, they defend it. Let's go ahead and say the truth. You can't fix people. No matter how kind your heart is, no matter how much you want to help, and no matter how good your intentions are, some people are just not ready to change. And smart people, they understand that. They don't waste time trying to repair what someone doesn't even admit is broken. See? Toxic people often want attention, not transformation. They don't actually want to grow. They just want someone to listen to the same old story over and over again. They want someone to rescue them from the fire they keep setting for themselves. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life playing the hero in someone else's never-ending crisis. Smart people don't fall into that trap. They stop trying to be the fixer, the counselor, the emotional support team for folks who have no interest in doing better. Why? Because they've learned something powerful. You can't help someone who doesn't want help. You can't pour your energy into someone who only knows how to take. And you sure can't heal someone who keeps picking at their own wounds. There's a difference between support and sacrifice. Supporting someone means walking with them while they do the work. Sacrificing yourself means doing the work for them while they sit back and complain. Smart people don't confuse the two. They've been through enough to know that if you keep trying to fix toxic people, they'll drain your time, your spirit, your resources, and still stay the same. You ever been in a situation where you gave your best to someone who gave you their worst? You listened, advised, encouraged, stayed up late talking, prayed for them, stood by them. And in the end, they didn't change. They didn't even try. And now you're left exhausted and confused, wondering what more you could have done. That's what happens when you try to fix someone who doesn't want fixing. It doesn't just waste your time. It wears down your soul. Smart people protect their peace by letting people take responsibility for their own healing. They stop making excuses for others. They stop carrying someone else's emotional baggage. They stop believing the lie that says, if I just love them enough, they'll change. Love is powerful, but love doesn't fix people who are committed to being broken. Let me make it plain. It's not your job to save everyone. It's not your job to pull people out of every mess they put themselves in. It's not your job to change someone who keeps showing you they're not ready. Your job is to live in truth, protect your peace, and surround yourself with people who want growth, not pity. That doesn't mean you stop being kind. That doesn't mean you turn cold. But it does mean you stop allowing your kindness to be used like a doormat. It means you stop lighting yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Smart people give yes, but they give with wisdom. They know when to speak and when to step back. They know when to offer support and when to say, this one's on you. And here's the crazy part. Sometimes stepping back is the most loving thing you can do. Sometimes people don't change until they feel the loss of your presence. They don't grow until they no longer have a cushion to fall on. So by walking away, you're not giving up on them. You're giving them the space to finally face themselves. Smart people don't let guilt keep them stuck. They understand that boundaries and detachment are not cruelty. They are clarity. They say, I love you, but I love me too. And they choose to protect their energy instead of pouring it into a bottomless cup. So stop trying to fix people who aren't fixing themselves. Stop trying to convince people to grow. Stop begging folks to see your worth. That's not your job. Your job is to grow. Your job is to rise. Your job is to protect your peace and walk in your purpose. Let people do their own healing. Let them walk their own journey. Let them face their own truth. And while they do, you keep moving forward. That's what smart people do. One thing about smart people, when things get messy, when emotions run high, when somebody's trying to stir up drama, they don't jump into the fire. They stay calm. They breathe. They don't let toxic people pull them into a shouting match or an emotional roller coaster. They understand something that a lot of people never figure out. Control comes from calm. Toxic people love chaos. That's where they feel powerful. If they can get you riled up, if they can get you to lose your temper, if they can get you reacting emotionally, they win. Because now you're off balance. Now you're just like them. Angry, defensive, spiraling. But smart people don't fall for it. They've trained themselves to stay steady, even when someone else is trying to throw them off. You ever had someone try to provoke you on purpose? Saying slick things, raising their voice, pressing your buttons. That's not a coincidence. That's a tactic. That's how toxic people pull you into their world. But when you stay calm, when you don't flinch, when you don't react, when you just look at them with peace in your eyes, it throws them off. It confuses them because they can't control what they can't shake. Staying calm doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're scared. It means you're disciplined. It means you've got enough self-respect to say, you're not going to take me out of character today. Because your peace is worth more than proving a point. Your energy is worth more than winning an argument. And smart people know that sometimes silence is more powerful than 100 comebacks. Toxic people feed off reactions. It's like fuel to them. But if you don't react, you starve the drama. You take the power out of the moment. You let their noise fall flat. And what happens next? They either calm down or walk away because they realize you're not playing their game. Now look, I'm not saying it's easy. When someone disrespects you, it takes everything in you not to clap back, not to go off. But that's where real power is. It's in restraint. It's in that moment when you could explode, but you choose not to. Because you understand this one truth: every reaction has a cost, and not every cost is worth paying. Smart people don't just react, they respond. And there's a difference. Reacting is emotional. Responding is thoughtful. It means you take a moment, check yourself, and choose what kind of energy you want to bring into the situation. That's strength. That's maturity. That's wisdom. And here's something else. When you stay calm, you keep control of the situation. The loudest person in the room doesn't have the most power. The one who stays grounded, who doesn't raise their voice, who doesn't match chaos with chaos, that's the one who really owns the moment. Because calm is contagious. It sets the tone. It changes the temperature in the room. Smart people use that to their advantage. They don't just protect their own peace. They create peace around them, even in the middle of conflict, even when things get tense. That's what separates them from everyone else. Toxic people bring heat. Smart people bring clarity. And when you learn to stay calm under pressure, something else amazing happens. You stop fearing conflict. You stop avoiding hard conversations because you know how to handle them without losing yourself. You know how to speak truth without shouting. You know how to defend yourself without disrespecting anyone else. That's powerful. That's real confidence. So the next time someone tries to push your buttons, stop, breathe. Don't give them the reaction they're hoping for. Let them talk. Let them throw their little storm. And you stay still, stay grounded, stay focused on your peace. Because when the storm passes, and it always does, you'll still be standing, calm, unbothered, in control. And that's what smart people do. One of the smartest things you'll ever do in life is pay attention to who's around you, who you let into your space, who you share your time, your thoughts, your energy with. Because here's the truth. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone should have access to you. Smart people know that. That's why they don't just let anyone walk into their life. They choose their circle carefully. Toxic people can mess up your peace, your purpose, and your mindset just by being close to you. You could be doing well, feeling good, making progress. And then here comes someone with their negativity, their drama, their bad energy, pulling you down without even trying. That's how powerful your circle is. It can either lift you or limit you. Smart people don't play with that. They don't let just anyone into their life. They observe. They watch how people talk, how they treat others, how they handle pressure. And if someone shows signs of being toxic, manipulative, fake, or constantly negative, they keep their distance. Not in hate, not in bitterness, just in wisdom. Because your energy is a resource, and the people around you either protect it or poison it. You ever notice how much lighter you feel when you're around the right people? People who support you, challenge you, celebrate you. That's not a coincidence. That's called alignment. And smart people protect that alignment. They understand that it's not about how many people are in your life. It's about the quality of the people in your life. Sometimes the smartest move you can make is cutting ties with someone who's been in your life for years. That old friend who only calls when they need something. That family member who's always negative. That partner who doesn't support your growth. Smart people don't let history keep them in misery. They understand that time spent doesn't mean energy well spent. They also don't hang around people who gossip, hate, or complain all day, because they know energy is contagious. If you're around 5 bitter people, guess who becomes number 6? But if you surround yourself with people who are growing, healing, and dreaming big, that energy rubs off on you too. That's why choosing your circle is a life decision, not a casual one. And look, sometimes choosing your circle means being alone for a little while. That's okay. Smart people aren't afraid of solitude. They'd rather be alone with peace than surrounded by people and feel empty. They know that the right people will come, and when they do, they'll add to your life, not subtract from it. Smart people are intentional. They look at who's clapping when they win, who's silent when they struggle, who's there when there's nothing to gain. And based on that, they build their circle. They keep it small, strong, and real. No fakes, no users, no drama, just truth, trust, and growth. And here's the thing, when you protect your circle, you protect your future. Because your circle affects your focus, your mood, your decisions. Toxic people can plant doubt in your dreams. They can discourage you from taking chances. They can make you question your worth. But the right people, they push you forward. They speak life into you. They remind you of who you are when you forget. So don't be afraid to outgrow people. Don't feel guilty for creating distance. You're not being mean, you're being mindful. You're not judging, you're protecting. And that's what smart people do. Because at the end of the day, your life is too valuable to be shared with just anybody. Your dreams are too important to be surrounded by people who don't believe in them. Your peace is too precious to let chaos sit next to it. So choose wisely, move intentionally, and never apologize for protecting your space. That's what smart people do. They don't just let life happen to them. They shape it by choosing the right people to walk with them. And they never forget, the right circle doesn't drain you, it builds you.